on Walewale and its environs. In business, IES predicts drop in fuel prices. What are the factors? We'll bring that to you shortly. On the international front, Israeli negotiators head to Cairo amid push to save Gaza ceasefire. We've got details of these stories and many more coming up shortly in the next 60 minutes. Do stay with us here on Newsroom. Many thanks for joining us on Newsroom. My name is Emmanuel Agyabeng, founder and general overseer of the Alive Chapel International Church. Prophet Elisha Salifu Amoako and two others have been rearrested by the police moments after they were discharged by the Circuit Court in Accra. On Monday, February 17, the Attorney General Amoako, a state attorney, had informed the Circuit Court of the directive from the AG to withdraw the charge sheet to allow for further investigations. According to him, the outcome of the further investigation will determine the direction of the matter. Bishop Salifu Amoako, together with his wife Moha Amoako, a banker, and one lender, Bonsu Prempe, a sales assistant, were charged for permitting an unlicensed person to drive. Their 16-year-old son is reported to have driven his mother's vehicle at top speed and rammed into the rear of an Acura SUV in Islegon here in Accra. The impacts propelled both vehicles across the road into a fence wall of a nearby house. The two vehicles caught fire and got burnt beyond recognition. Two occupants of the Acura, namely Justine Agyabeng and Mami Jumoboateng, both 12 years of age, were trapped in the vehicle and died in the fire. The three accused persons, Bishop Salifu, his wife, and the sales assistants, pleaded not guilty and were admitted to bail in the sum of 50,000 Ghana cedis with two sureties, each without justice, to allow the police to conduct further investigations to determine the direction the prosecution should take. Our court correspondent and legal affairs correspondent Murtala Yunusa for more on this particular development. He was in the court. Murtala, help us with when the state attorney made their justification on the court. If you can unmute for us, Murtala, we very much appreciate for that. What was the presiding judge's reaction to the reason for the withdrawal of the charges pressed in court today? Murtala, if you can mute for us, we would very much appreciate that. As we rework Murtala's network, we do understand, and what we're getting from the court now is that the state attorney, through through the AG's office, withdrew the charges against Bishop Salifu Amoako, his wife, and a sales assistant. I do have Murtala back now. Murtala, when the charge was withdrawn from court today, what was the presiding judge's reaction to the withdrawal?
Yeah, Emmanuel, just before I tell you about Justice Mr. Samuel Bright Akwa's decision by way of the state withdrawal of that particular charge sheet, event before today point to the fact that prosecution was institute the charge sheet before the court. At the last court sitting, the charge sheet before the court. At the last court sitting, the court was informed that the proceeding want to file a new fresh charge sheet. The court was informed that the proceeding want to file a new fresh charge sheet to substitute the other one. But that did not happen because the case had to be adjourned because we have new Attorney General in place and the new AG will want to study the case docket before, if anything, a decision is made. Then today, the decision was that the parties will come to court and the AG would apprise the court, or the Attorney General's representative, Ebenezer Yao Akwa, will apprise the court on latest development. It emerged in court today that the AG's decision by way of the matter before the court is that the police have been asked to conduct further investigations into the matter, and that investigations would, in fact, give some indication as to the direction that the prosecution will intend to go. So that the case before the court, as it stands now, its current state, is very weak, and so proceeding with it in court be able to get something meaningful, or the charges will not be sustained. In fact, there's only one count what has to do with permitting an unlicensed person to drive, where they have pleaded not guilty.
Now, Mutala, for Bishop Salifu Amoako, his wife, and if you can hear me, Bishop Salifu Amoako, his wife, and then the sales assistant. One moment you're free, the moment you step out of the court, the cuffs are back on, you're rearrested. What could be seen from their faces? What mood could you tell from their reaction?
It came as a surprise to them because the indication was not too clear what was going to happen immediately after the court discharged them, after the prosecution withdrew the charge sheet. In fact, the court said that it is the prosecution that initiated. The court has no other option than to grant the request of the state, and the accused persons were discharged. The moment when they stepped out, they were informed that they are needed again at the police station. They will have, in fact, there was a police van that immediately stood there. And about the conversation was, are we going to join the police van, or we are going to drive in our own car to follow the police to the police station? But eventually, they agreed on some using the police van and the others using the vehicle that was charged today, and immediately rearrested back.
Certainly, the coming days will find out more on this. Mutala Yunusa, thank you so much for speaking with us. He is our legal affairs correspondent here at the EIB Network. Away from that story, it has been over 24 hours since the deadly attacks on the Walewale-Bolgatanga highway, yet no arrests have been made. The violence, which has claimed several lives and left many injured, prompted the Interior Ministry to impose a dusk to dawn curfew on Walewale and its environs upon the advice of the Northeast Regional Security Council. Concerned youth of the Kusok traditional area in the Upper East region have condemned the ongoing brutal attacks in the area. There's more.
In recent times, several people have lost their lives along the Tamale-Bolga-Boko-Pomakom highway due to escalating insecurity at Walewale. Long-distance buses traveling to and from the Boko enclave are frequently targeted, ambushed, and sometimes set ablaze. At least 3 of
and may soon act in self-defense.
Walewale will go and they're surrounding. If they're inviting the fight, then the president should also impose curfew there. They should also.
Is crucial to restoring lasting peace in the area.
We fail to understand that a single person can hold Boku to ransom, causing the loss of lives, and parade himself as a rival chief. We are hereby asking the government to enforce the rule of law on the Boku issues.
They can arrest Pedro Abagle. We don't have problem. If they say he should come and they'll give him an area chief in Natenga, we don't have problem. He'll go there and be an area chief.
They call for all hands on deck to find a lasting solution for the deadly violence in the community.
Was imposed, we heard that there were going to be a curfew, and we didn't get any communique from the Interior Ministry as to whether the curfew was coming on or not. So that was last week, and then that was also on Friday or Thursday when we heard that the Interior Ministry has imposed curfew on Walewale and its environs. The people of Walewale have not taken it lightly. And that resulted when the regional minister went there to see the guys by the burning of the car, and he subsequently went to the chief palace, and it ended chaotic. So the news, they have not received the news lightly at all.
You mentioned chaos. Give us some more details on the chaos that you were referring to at the chief's palace.
Yeah, so on Saturday, the regional minister was coming from Accra. So he called that as a media, we meet him in Walewale for him to go and see the victims and also treat the chief of Walewale and inform the chief about the curfew. So we went to Walewale. First of all, we went to the Walewale District Hospital, Municipal Hospital rather. He interacted with the victims. The regional minister, Honorable Ibrahim Tia, also made some, he took over their bills One of the victims were there. Ambulance service was saying that before the ambulance will come to Walewale, they have to make some payment for fuel. So the regional minister took it upon himself to pay for the fuel. Told the chief that he was talking with the interior minister to see how best they can help curb the situation. But unfortunately, on his part, he wasn't able to secure for the curfew not to come on. So the curfew has come. What they need to do is that they should all come together and abide by the laws, so that they will see in the next 5 days if he will be able to talk to them to see if they can rescind the
curfew is politically motivated. The excerpts of that particular record shows that you say you were not consulted before this curfew was imposed. How is that possible? How did that happen?
And we can only join the multitude and all well-meaning guys. Decision to impose curfew, as you can see, and as you have played, is just an attempt to please a call by a certain people. In your own reportage, it doesn't take a youth group anywhere in the country to call on the government to impose curfew on any person because the people feel like that was the right thing to do. Look, I will not sit down here and recommend an imposition of curfew in Binduri, even though in the last 2 weeks, at least 2 lives have been lost there. I will not sit down here and propose curfew in Sibila, even though the last 24 hours, a vehicle was attacked and several people have been injured. I will not sit down here and propose curfew in Garo. So I will not sit down here and propose that the people of Walewale should be put under lock because some people have been attacked there. That is not a reasonable security measure. That is not, if you like, an appropriate security measure. The decision to impose a curfew, I will not miss word, is political. And if it was not, one would have thought that the Ministry for Interior will engage why the political motivated and there's no explanation whatsoever that would justify that. People say that Boku is under conflict. Yes, true, Boku is under curfew. Boku, rightly so. The decision to put Boku on curfew is well placed because there are a few
things before an imposition of curfew is put in place. And I think I heard him there. The Interior Ministry or the Interior Minister by law cannot on its own impose a curfew. Curfews usually, the request for curfew usually, per the law, emanates from the local level, i.e. the municipal assembly. Usually, I think it's very unfortunate. You don't do that. Security decisions. What is happening? We need long-lasting solutions. But you see, sometimes when curfews are not imposed, then you are going to have needless lives being lost. And so as far as I'm concerned, I think that the feuding parties would have to, once again, as I've always called, come to the round table, sit and see, how can we dialogue? Because at the end of the day, if you know the enclave, you would have to go through, because Walewale is on the main highway. It means that if there are bandits, I will call them. I don't know who these people are, who are burning vehicles and killing people. I think it is not the right thing.
Rather unfortunate. Dr. Adam Bona, we appreciate your expert insights and analysis into this particular matter. Thank you so much. Visible at the Prempeh College Assembly Hall, where a reround of the Ashanti Region's Council of State election is being held. The election, which was initially slated for last Tuesday, 11 February, was disrupted by some thugs, leading to confusion and halting of proceedings. The Electoral Commission announced a rerun of the Council of State election in the Ashanti and Northeast East region slated for today, Monday, February 17, 2024. A statement signed by the EC's Deputy Chairman in charge of operations, Samuel Tete, said the rerun in the Northeast region was to last Tuesday's elections. The Ashanti polls was